What's poppin', and
welcome back to Maxify Seminar.
Maxify Seminar. Today we're going to be talking about a new release, a movie from 2021.
Encanto.
Disney's newest 3D animation.
Yes. So, where to even start?
Here's where I want to start. So, I watched the trailer for this movie when it came out, and the trailer does not do this movie justice at all. The trailer for this movie really gave me the wrong idea. It didn't really do this movie justice at all. It's one of the worst trailers I've seen in recent memory.
I think this movie is, I agree with Max. This movie kind of blew me away because the trailer made it seem not so great.
I wasn't even going to see this movie. And luckily, a good friend of mine saw it on opening day, I'm pretty sure, and told me, this is good, you have to go see this, you're going to love it. And I did love it. So, thank you for that. So, Encanto is about this crazy, extraordinary, magical family called the Madrigals. And in that family, there is one person who was born, the most recent person to get their powers. Mirabel did not receive her powers. And so, when stuff starts to go awry with the powers and with the house and stuff starts to collapse on itself, Mirabel has to unveil some of the family's secrets. This movie flourishes on Lin-Manuel Miranda's music.
Yeah. You can notice it in, all of the songs are his style. You'll have, multiple things happening, different, and then it'll all just culminate into, everyone singing at the same time. Very similar to Hamilton.
It works very well here, too. In Moana, I know he was on as a songwriter on Moana, but for the songs in that movie, only one of them really had the feeling of his style, but here, every song, you can almost hear his voice coming through.
Yeah, so this thing is a lot like seeing Hamilton or something, because it's a lot like, first of all, it's like,
it feels like a stage musical.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know why. It's hard to explain why, but something like La La Land or a Scream musical or even an old one like Wizard of Oz, the story is integrated into the songs. The songs are integrated into the story, but here the story breaks to have songs, and the story is built more on those songs.
Yeah, it's like a song.
It's a very subtle
a
difference. It's hard to understand. It's hard to explain.
And it's a very Lin-Manuel thing to do.
It really is.
Because if I keep going back to Hamilton, but I kind of have to. All of his songs.
It is his magnum opus.
All of his songs in that one, they all start by a conversation or between two people, and it's not part of this giant story. It's and that's what they did kind of in this movie.
And it made the songs feel so much more natural, In Moana, you had these breaks for songs where it was okay, now Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's gonna sing a song. In this one, it feels like this conversation is going somewhere. You're is this gonna be a song? Is it not? Oh, yes, it is. Yep, here we go. And you're already halfway into the song. And the animation around these songs is great.
Okay, so...
Animation.
I'm gonna have to interrupt you there, because it's kind of my forte. God, dude, I can't even explain how good the computer-generated imagery on this movie is and the animation. The hair! It
feels like a broken record at this point. Every time we review an animated movie, or any time any animated movie comes out, it's okay, whoa.
Dude,
this is just incredible.
I'm sure if the producers of this movie wanted to make it look real, photo real, they could. But it's that...
It's stylized.
It's stylized. But the hair looks just so good, and...
We saw water again in this movie. Water CGI is really hard to do. And I mentioned this in my Okja review, and it's fairly common knowledge, but water CGI is something you rarely saw done right in early stages. But wow, they're getting to a point where it's one of the most real parts of a fully animated movie.
Just incredible. If this movie could be done, it's crazy. This movie could be done live action, and it would be almost you wouldn't have to change anything. But one thing I noticed, normally in CGI movies, they have all these cheesy cuts. Like, it's not shot like a normal movie because they have the tools to make it any shot they want because it's CGI. But in this movie, it seems like they realize that's unrealistic. So they kind of made it almost like the camera... I never saw the camera do anything that was like... that made it seem CG. They did like practical shots in this, but in CG. It was crazy. And it made it so much more real feeling, and it kind of blew me away.
As far as the story goes for this movie, I really do like the concept of it. I think it's a good original concept, and that's always applauded here. But I'm not sure I am quite satisfied with the ending or with the way the antagonist is constructed.
In this movie, something they did well, but it's a little bit, I mean, it was callable. Like, you could call it, like, out in the beginning of the movie. Like,
it was predictable.
Yes, that's the word I'm
you were
looking for. So, it's not bad, but this has been done before.
I do like the concept of this film, but I do think the story was very predictable. And I don't think the antagonist really worked very well. That part of it was especially predictable, how the ending was going to go with how that all gets resolved. Definitely stuff we've seen even with Disney before. But I will say one thing regarding story. The way this movie is historically set is really neat. I really like that.
Yeah, so I wasn't noticing anything off the bat, but then the first time they took a picture and I saw the camera, it was like a 20s camera.
There are hints towards what's going on, and then things start getting revealed, and you're like, oh, okay.
This movie never says when it's set. It doesn't say anything about time period, but you know, like, you have a somewhat range of where you know where it is. And it's not blatantly obvious they're trying to put that out there. It's just, like, you self-consciously do it. You know where this movie takes place in time because of things you see, and you're not like... It's just done really well.
Mm-hmm. And that whole setting is so important because this movie is really an allegory in full for the Colombian escapism movement during that time period. And because the movie takes place there, and because the movie's about what it's about, and it's about Colombian art in a way, it really is a really great just metaphor for Colombian art throughout that time period. And it works incredibly well as an allegorical movie. But like we said, the story is a little bit shallow.
Someone I did not expect to make an appearance in this movie, John Leguizamo.
Yes.
Or John maybe it's Leguizamo. I don't know.
He made an appearance in this movie. This is maybe his first voice work since, I guess, the last Ice Age movie. And wow, we didn't even know it was him for a second. It took us a minute.
I was like, is this Adam Sandler? No,
it's Sid.
It's Sid.
And it is Sid. But it's Sid with so much more nuance, okay? So many times now we've seen John Leguizamo in this role of Sid. Or he's playing live action Sid against Mark Wahlberg in that terrible M. Night Shyamalan.
Or he's going against that one guy in Romeo and Juliet.
Exactly, but either way, he's always this character that's just such a caricature. And the character he plays in this movie, which we can't really get into because it's a bit of a spoiler, has a lot more depth. And it was good to see him playing, especially an animated character, with so much more meaning behind it.
It wasn't just like, Sid is... the eggs are rolling down the hill. Oh, that's too bad. It was like... This had some meaning behind it, and it felt like he was
it felt almost serious... like an apology for Sid, and I really, I thought that was funny in a way, but I also appreciated it.
It was like a real character, like, it just seemed real. It wasn't just like, That's all I can say.
A really tragic character too, and a character that really makes the ending especially more impactful, predictable as it may be. So overall, Encanto, I think, is my favorite movie out of the purely Disney wheelhouse in, I don't know, maybe the last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I
They
enjoyed
haven't
the story.
really blown me away very much. This feels Pixar caliber, you know?
This
is better than some Pixar movies of recent memory.
This is like, I was kind of blown away by this whole movie. I mean, yeah, the story was a little bit cheesy, but it was pretty original, and the animation was good. I can't really find a problem with this movie.
As we've said, I think just the story was, it was a little predictable, but I think that making it not predictable would come at a price of losing a lot of the important aspects of what this story is. And I think this story is just great. And so I'm going to give Encanto from 2021 1 star.
I'm going to be giving this a 2 star because I thought it was great. And I understand why you gave it 1 star. Our system's a little flawed. It's time we talk about this.
Yeah, so our system is a bit flawed.
He obviously knew I was going to give it 2 stars, but he didn't want it to be 4 stars, so he gave it 1 star.
Yeah, I don't think this is a 4 star. And I had a feeling you were going to give it the 2. So, and I just didn't think, I don't know. I really did enjoy it, but I don't think it's
tip top, but I think it deserves 3 stars. So they were both on that same page, 1.5 stars each, and it's 3 stars.
3 out of 4 stars.
Yes. So.
But even still, this was one of the best movies of the year. This could have made top 5 out of movies for 2021. 2021 was a little bit of a weak year until this last quarter.
Leonardo DiCaprio just came out with a movie that we saw. Yeah, we could be coming out with a seminar for that. I'm just gonna have to
find out. But until then, this has been Maxify Seminar.
I've been Blake.
He's been Blake.
He's been Max.
And I've been Max. And we'll see you in the next one.